It was still warm in my mouth when I realized what I had done. The taste, thin and bitter, tingled on my tongue like pleasure. I stood there motionless. My chest rose and fell as Evan, the young manager who paid for our guest room, looked at me with eyes that held both contentment and something much deeper. I was 55, he was 22. This should never have happened. It started as a stupid argument about the laundry, which turned into desperation. Then I was on my knees with a washed-out pen. My hands jingled. My knees pressed against the refrigerator. The foliage of my Christmas gang shone under the terrible light. He screamed, and you wanted to say it too. And the worst part was, I did. But what neither of us knew was how far it would go and how deeply it would destroy everything. We thought we could control it. Before I continue, I'd like to take a moment to thank everyone who has subscribed to this channel. Your enthusiasm, your engagement, and your responses mean the world to me. For those of you seeing this for the first time or who haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Your support is the fuel that burns this fire. Don't forget to like, comment, and share your thoughts below. I always read every comment, and this channel grows with your voice. Now let's go back to the story because it goes much deeper. My name is Lena. I am 55 years old. I'm a married nursing assistant living in a quiet part of Georgia. My husband, Mark, is a contract manager who's away on extended projects most of the time. This quiet has become my norm. The lonely dinners, the cold side of the bed, the birthday party in solitude. Then Evan was invited. Evan was the son of a family who needed a temporary place to stay after graduation. At 22, he possessed all the energy, self-confidence, and warm, hopeful charm that young people so easily possess. He had a degree, but no job yet. And the numbers start with him. Mark told him he could stay with us until he was on his feet. I replied, of course. What homeowner wouldn't? I had no idea if I was a welcome threat. It started subtly. The way he came down after the race, still catching his breath, the extended views as I turned around to look at the mail, the way his greetings went on a little longer than they should have. I told myself I was imagining things. I was old enough to be his mother. Good heavens. But a warm summer evening, I was chasing leaves in the back kitchen. He came in wearing an empty shirt still warm from his jog. His hair was dirty, his face wet, and suddenly my mouth got wet before I could even greet him. "Hey," he shouted, "do you always wear such nice clothes just to cause chafing?" I slipped. "Go and see Evan." But he cut closer. "Maybe I just like seeing you when you're so focused." My pulse raced. I felt the heater rush towards my face. I should have laughed. I should have hurt him. But I'm freezing, partly out of panic, partly out of a feeling I haven't had in a long time. I saw him. I told him to stop. I didn't want to. I think he knew this because he cooled his voice, his fingers ruffling the corner of the bag I was holding. I murmured his name like a warning signal. He took it as honesty. A hand lifted my shoulder. His voice roared through my brain. He spoke to me. He was really talking to me. My ring felt like a screw. I shouldn't have. I screamed, but he just laughed softly. "You need someone to listen to you, Lena, and God helped in me. He was right." But what I didn't know then was that Evan had no plans to stay there. He wanted more of the connection we shared, and this time he would make sure I gave it to him. I tried to avoid him the next day. I lay in bed as if I were to track down clothes that had already been tracked the night before. My hand sent each time. I shook my lips as if the memory I had spoken still lived on my skin. I could still hear his voice. Mark had called from Savannah that morning. He was staying for another week. He could have made himself comfortable. Instead, it was provocation. The silence in the house felt like an experiment. Evan was already in the kitchen when I finally woke up. He lay down against the refrigerator, drinking juice straight from the carton as always. Only this time, he paused in the spotlight. He lined his mouth, and he looked at me as if I were a question he wanted to answer. "Good morning, Lena," he said slowly and warmly. Are you sleeping well? I declined. Evan, we need to talk, he shouted, moving closer. What did you say about last night? My teeth throbbed. What we talked about, he swore. All I know is you didn't push me away. You opened up, and you looked like you needed every word. His words burned. Not because they were false, but because they were true. I'd spent the night wrestling with shame, but here he was, wearing honesty like confidence. It was a mistake, I whispered. Then make the right choice this time, he said softly. Because I'm not done talking with you, Lena. Not even close. That week was a torment I had never known. Every room in the house became a trap. He would brush past me too closely in the hallway, leave the bathroom door slightly open while humming after a shower, knowing I'd hear him. At dinner, he sat across from me, foot nudging mine under the table, daring me to react. I kept telling myself to stop, to tell Mark, to draw a line. But the truth was, I craved the attention. It made me feel visible, wanted, alive. And then the night everything nearly fell apart. Mark surprised me. He came home Friday night instead of Sunday. He walked in with flowers and wine, talking about how much he missed me. I felt nauseous, not just from lying to him with every glance, but because Evan was upstairs. The house was heavy. I kept hoping Evan would stay in his room. Mark opened the wine, poured me a glass, and started kissing my cheek. I went stiff. My mind was still caught in the memory of Evan's voice, his gentleness, his attention. Then the worst thing happened. Evan came downstairs wearing only a towel around his shoulders. Hey, froze. Mark looked up. Hey, buddy. Still here? Evan laughed lightly. Yeah, just finished a shower. Didn't know you were back early. Mark smiled. Hope you're not driving Lena crazy. Evan's eyes met mine. His smile darkened. She's been really supportive lately. Mark didn't catch it, but I did. That night, while Mark lay sleeping next to me, I was wide awake, heart racing, eyes open to the dark. My phone buzzed, a message from Evan. Come downstairs, or I'll come to you. I slipped from bed, barely breathing, not careful to wake Mark. I made it halfway to the stairs and stopped. My mind raced, what we were doing, how close Mark was to discovering it. It wasn't just attention anymore, it was control, it was power, it was something tearing me apart. By the end of that week, Evan had stopped pretending. He wasn't whispering in shadows or stealing glances. He didn't care what Mark might think. And I kept giving in, not physically, but emotionally. It wasn't love. It wasn't fun. It was needed. A need to be heard, noticed, chosen. But what I didn't know was that our little spark was about to become a wildfire. That Sunday, Mark invited a few friends over for the Falcons game. The house buzzed with snacks, beer, and noise. I tried to act normally. I wore a long dress, no makeup, and I avoided Evan like the plague, but he wouldn't let me go. Every time Mark left the room, Evan was there whispering soft words in my ear, brushing my arm as he passed, sending texts I couldn't dare open in front of anyone. Then it happened. Mark had stepped outside to take a call. His phone buzzed on the counter. I glanced over accidentally and froze. The screen lit up. It was a voicemail from my number. My stomach dropped. I didn't remember calling. I snatched the phone, heart hammering, and played the message. The sound that spilled out made my blood chill. It was from last night in the kitchen. Somehow my phone had dialed his number and recorded everything, every emotional confession, every whispered vulnerability, every line we crossed. I almost dropped it. My hand shook so badly I barely stopped the playback, erased it in a panic. Too late, Mark had walked back in. He saw my face, my trembling hands. His smile disappeared. "What's wrong, Lena?" he asked. "You look like you saw a ghost." Then the unthinkable. Evan walked in behind him, stretched, yawned, and said lazily, "Mark, when are you heading back out again? Lena and I have gotten really close while you've been gone." Mark turned to me, then to Evan. His gaze sharpened and everything exploded. He demanded answers. I tried to lie, but I collapsed. I confessed, every word cutting like glass. Mark stared at me like I was someone he didn't know, his face twisted with fury and heartbreak. You were supposed to be supporting him, he snapped. How long has this been happening? Evan stayed silent. No guilt, no apology, just watching. Mark stormed out that night. No calls, no messages, nothing. The next morning, Evan was gone too. No note, no goodbye. Just an empty room and the echo of betrayal. The house felt dead. I stopped sleeping. I stopped eating. All I could hear were Mark's last words before he slammed the door. You disgust me. I had lost everything. My husband, my peace of mind, and a part of myself I may never get back. One choice, a reckless moment of emotional weakness. Burn down the life I'd spent over 20 years building. What is it worth? I still wonder. But this I know, silence, loneliness and hunger are a volatile mix. And when someone finally makes you feel seen again, even if it's wrong, sometimes your soul responds before your mind can catch up. That's my truth, my shameful, unfiltered, but real truth. Now I want to hear from you. What would you have done in my place? Do you believe in second chances after something like this? Let me know in the comments. I read every word. And if this story stirred something in you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. There are more secrets to uncover. And the next one is even darker.